Greetings, Padawan parents and guardians of the galaxy. Our Jedi training today will begin with the most common mistakes most Kidpreneur Padawan parents and guardians make when trying to teach children how to use the Force to ignite entrepreneurial spirit. So listen up, home slice. And one more thing, take a real good look at me. A real good look, and because next time I will be Master Beast Yoda. I will use the Force and become a giant like Ant-Man did. Yeah, this is the power of belief. Wah! 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 What's up, guys? Thank you for checking out this video. There's gonna be some cool entrepreneurial tips and tricks here. This is part of a Kidpreneurship course for parents I recorded. So if you want to check out the entire course, module 1 is right over here. Or you can check out our regular actual YouTube videos, which shares tips, tricks, roadmap strategies to help you build profitable businesses. Lastly, this is a non-for-profit YouTube channel, so 100% of YouTube AdSense revenue will be donated to legal registered charities that support youth entrepreneurship. So the more we share, the more we care. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get on with the video. Peace. This is the ultimate tool of all Jedi Kidpreneurship parents. Yes, a selfie stick! Yeah, not really. Oh, look, I dropped something. Give me a second here. Just a little more control. Yeah. So guys, yes, the selfie stick is the parent's ultimate tool for Kidpreneurship. No, not really. But I have seen a lot of things that our fellow parents have done, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, in terms of pitfalls and perhaps mistakes. And I want to start this by making sure we review those mistakes that I've seen myself make, as well as fellow parents in this journey. So let's do this. First things first. So common mistakes. First one is journey, not a project. What does that mean? What I mean is that if you are serious about inspiring and sharing and hoping that your kids are going to pick up this lens, this tool of entrepreneurship, it is very important that we don't treat this as just a project. It is important that it is something we're willing to commit to and adopt to. And the reason I say this is that the role of the parent, the guardian, is really important, especially at this time in their lives. They really need some kind of a partner, because in the world of entrepreneurship, when you kind of venture, like I said, I guess sometime in the previous module about how this is a kind of a personal development mission when you go into entrepreneurship, when you go down this path, lots of stuff can happen, limiting beliefs, all the stuff we say to ourselves, it's crazy as adults and as children. And so being there for our kids is really important. This is very foundational to being a parent and a guardian, to ensure that our kids have the highest possibility of adopting entrepreneurship. So if you're the parent who is hoping that, I'm gonna enroll my kid in this entrepreneurship course and poof, I'm gonna go off, do my own thing, and that's it, right? And the program and the people, the coaches and the community, they're gonna do all the work. No, that's not it. If this sounds like too much work for you, then you might wanna get off the program now, in my opinion, at least the way we do it.
I was the one who wanted to relax on Sunday. Now if you'll be so kind as to leave so I can get ready for work tomorrow.
Mr. President,
Shush.
we just wanted to...
Get out of my house!
But you have to be really intentional, and you need to say, this is a commitment and it's a journey I'm willing to walk with my children for a long time. And funny enough, if you do this, like most of our fellow parents, it ends up being a journey we take quite easily forever. It becomes second nature, it becomes habitual, and it's a great habit because the results are awesome, right? So again, if you guys didn't see 1.2, which is where I walked through and introduced my kids back there, those little stuffies represent my children, and you'll see kind of like the journey we've been through. And I feel so blessed that I can share this with you guys and also take lessons from other parents who have embarked on this journey as well. So mistake number 1, that they treat it like a project. And so this is a journey, something we need to commit to for our kids. Number 2, specifically, I'm an entrepreneur parent. So, wow, I mean, so many of my friends, majority of my network, of course, are entrepreneurs. So when we talk, a little shaky there, when we talk about, what we want to do for our kids, us as entrepreneurs, we like, wow, it's such a great life. It's a great way to living things. It's a great way to protect yourself even. It's a great way to build yourself. It's a great way to support other people. It's a great way to make a difference. And something I didn't say in the first module, but entrepreneurship to me is incredible because I believe during situations like pandemics and global catastrophe and recession, entrepreneurship is one of the key, if not the most important key and an element in the world that's going to save us and bring us out of recession. It is the element that's going to create jobs. It's the element that gets you to rely on yourself, create opportunity when opportunities are just falling apart. And so this is like the ultimate thing. So as an entrepreneur, of course, as a parent, we're like, yo, man, our kids need to learn this. But the biggest pitfall here is I'm an entrepreneur, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, have you ever been to school or any type of training where the expert really knows a lot about what they're talking about, but they suck at teaching? And so the pitfall of the entrepreneurs, and I've had many of them reach out to me and say, yo, dude, I'm trying to teach my kids this, I run a business and blah, 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 blah. And the mistake is how much pressure and stress we put upon this. And this becomes naturally, as we've been there, when a parent kind of tries to push their values and belief system onto their child, when they're not ready for it, when they don't see the light, it becomes the opposite effect. They run away from entrepreneurship, and I've seen it. I have seen parents where at 12, 13, their kids, it's almost like arm candy in a way where, hey, my kid has a business. He's 12, she's 13, whatever it may be. But then I follow these kids into their 20s now, and guess what? Some of them don't want anything to do with entrepreneurship. They kind of did it to appease their parents, but at the end of the day, never really worked out. And in fact, they even have a trigger against the entrepreneurship approach. And they say, oh, I'm never gonna run a business. I'm just gonna stick with my job. But little do they know that you could still be an employee of a company and still be entrepreneurial. And that's kind of a cool thing, which takes me to the next point, which is I'm a non-entrepreneur parent or I'm a failed entrepreneur. So I've seen those groups kind of lumped together. I'd probably do it separately, but I didn't want to put them together because I've had enough parents come up to me and say, Tuan, like I want to teach my kids this stuff on entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. I can see my kid is asking a lot about money and how to make money and blah, 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 how they make more, all these crazy questions, right? And as a non-entrepreneur, or dude, I started a business and I failed and I don't think I have the credibility to teach my kids any of this stuff. Suddenly, this internal dialogue prevents you, and this is a common mistake, from believing you can actually teach. So the common mistake here is I don't believe I can do it. And I can tell you right now, when you see the tools that we're about to share, it is possible. So please get that mindset out of your head, meditate, talk to other people who were failed entrepreneurs, who are non-entrepreneur parents working a job, and some of their kids are just spectacular running businesses that they're passionate about, and you could see it in their blood, you know what I mean? Their energy and their spirit. So that's what I did. I talked to a whole bunch of parents and I was like, wow, how did you do it? You're working here and your kids are just really, they just see the world really differently. And I love it. How did you do it? And so this is the course, or, the sets of videos, whatever you want to call it, that I'm going to share with you some of our greatest lessons, and can't squeeze it all in, even all these videos I'm shooting. But hopefully it'll be enough to give you the tools to build even more upon what we're going to share with you. Next is your why. Your why. And I wrote ego here. I was gonna put a post-it note on that, but I might as well tell you straight up right now, which is, earlier I've asked, why did you decide to enroll your kids in this program? And so many people say, I see so much potential in my kids. I don't want my kids to rely on the system. I don't believe in the education system. I want them to have this extra tool. There's so many reasons. I see my kids come like this, or I want my kids this, and I want this, and I want that. And notice it always starts with I, or even though it says, I see this in my kid, right? Which is gonna take you to the next point. But the biggest challenge here is the amount of parents, and truthfully, it comes a lot from entrepreneurs. That's kind of a pitfall. Is that when you set your why as I this my kid, I this, it creates this expectation. I'm not gonna say this is what's gonna happen to you, but the last 6 years, this is what we've noticed when we start feeling frustration, when we're triggered, and then that energy being triggered, when it gets transferred onto our kids, they once again start saying, I don't want you to teach me this stuff anymore. Don't talk about mindset, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, I don't listen to you. They may not say those words, but you guys have been there. The parents have been there where you're trying to share or teach something to your kids and they just don't want to listen, or they say and you know they're not even absorbing it, right? Because they don't feel it's about them, they feel it's about you. The why you're saying this, it's about you. So be careful about your why. And my recommendation in our group that we've talked about is that our why is really to show up as the best parent we can be. That's why we want to get into kidpreneurship. We want to have the tools so we could shine what we need to shine to inspire them from within the entrepreneurship. And wherever they want to go with it, that's where they're going to want to go with it, and set no expectations upon that. And I have noticed the last probably year and a half that we've pushed this point, our even peacefulness on this journey has just grown so much. We enjoy the process better because we're not expecting getting disappointed over and over again, because this is a journey. This is not like project where there's like an end date. If they're not entrepreneurs by 16 years old, that's a problem, right? Then it leads to this whole thing. We talk about potential, right? And this is philosophy, and you may disagree or agree, but in our group, we have agreed that using the word potential is also a very ego way of seeing things, because when you say, I see potential in my kid, I see potential, I see potential, the truth is, the moment you say, I see potential, what we've noticed is when we define what the potential is in our vision, it actually puts them in a box. So you could say, I have an opinion of what I see my kids doing, but what will really happen, I'm actually not sure. Where they can take this with in their lives, I have no idea. But this is kind of what I see, and what happens, happens. I don't know, right? And so for us, we let our kids know that, hey, you know, I notice you like this. This is what's possible. Would you enjoy that? Would that be meaningful for you? Would that excite you, right? And if they say yes, 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 and then like, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. What? Why this excites you, because I'm just taking a wild guess here as daddy here, that this could be it. But if I'm wrong, hey, I'm cool with that, right? So taking away the idea and the mindset and the lens that you're always looking and seeing potential in your child is going to be core to giving them the space for them to create and become who they want to be. The only person who could speak about one's potential is them themselves. They could say, Dad, I see myself like this. Mom, I see myself like this. Uncle, I see myself as this, right? That's the power of giving them space. So potential, the whole potential mindset takes that space away from them. Next is comparing. Now, sometimes we don't even think they're comparing. And here's the interesting thing is, I talk about this in the next module a little bit. In fact, I'll probably bring this point back. But when we compare with our kids, we think we're giving them inspiration. But the truth is, it doesn't work that way. And I'm sure you felt compared in ways where you felt it was really unfair. So I'm just gonna gloss over this point because I am gonna talk a bit about more in the next one, right? The last one is what I call the creativity crusher, right? A core element of entrepreneurship is, think about the story where I tell about Quinn, where he didn't like standing around waiting for people to come by and say, hey, you wanna buy lemonade, support us? He didn't care about that. What he loved the idea of putting lemonade in a super soaker and just soaking people as they walk by, and maybe they might come and buy lemonade, right? For him, it was the bomb diggity bomb. And the amount of times our kids, even ourselves probably, I'm sure you can imagine these times in your own life where it's happened in the past, but they have these ideas and we shut it down right away. We don't inquire, we don't go deeper, we don't lead their thought process to either formulate that into a more mature thought, meaning like more complete thought, or we say, hey, does this work? What do you think? Like, have you thought about these elements? What do you think, right? Are you still excited? Great, right? So the creative crusher is when we don't give them that space. And here's the crazy thing. One of the key elements to entrepreneurship is uninhibited creativity. And to be uninhibited creative, I don't know what the right way to say, you know what I mean? To be creative in an abundance really is to be childlike, is to be youthful. That's when you're truly creative. That's when you're a space of absolute awe with yourself. Not about yourself, but in a space of complete awe. So be careful with that last mistake, is the amount of times we crush kids' creativity. And really, it's not about crushing them. It's we have removed ourselves from the possibility of being a child again. We have removed the lens of being creative and curious like a child. So there you go. Those are the 7 mistakes that I think a lot of us parents make, and let's watch out for that. So moving forward, a bit of a homework for you is that think about one of these elements, any of these, right? If you already know you're committed, it's not a project, maybe you're an entrepreneur parent and you're like setting a lot of expectations. Maybe you're the opposite. You're a failed entrepreneur that you see yourself as a failed entrepreneur, or you're a non-entrepreneur parent, and you tell yourself, I don't have like the credibility. No, stop that. There's ways to develop that. Is this about you, really? Or do I box my kids in, which I mentioned earlier too? Do I box them in? Am I comparing? Do I crush creativity? Have I lost touch with my youthful self? Think about that and give yourself an action. My very next thing I'm gonna do is make sure I do things right. And when I say right, I'm not saying like factual right. This is, according to my opinion, what I think would be more effective. Sounds good? We'll see you in the next one. Peace!